So
Stay still! Get out of here!
that wasn't. It's a Riddler reference there.
Fear is a tool. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning.
That face.
I've been trying to reach you.
Find the gun!
This is a powder keg, and Riddler's the match.
I can take care of myself.
If this continues, it won't be long before you've nothing left.
I don't care what happens to me.
It's only gonna get worse for you.
Whoa, take it easy, sweetheart. Hear everything they say, ain't you?
Maybe we're not so different. Who are you under there?
I'm
I love that.
vengeance. What's black and blue and dead all over? You. Dick.
I got you! I got you!
Holy shit! That was pretty nutty. I don't know about you. It was like the whole style of it is just like nothing we have seen really. And I thought about this like as soon
It
as
feels like it's.
like as soon as the first teaser came out, I'm like, right, this is for me one of the most like the best interpretation of like comic book strip made live action, because each frame feels like you could literally like create a cartoon, create like if you cartoonized each frame a bit more than it already is, because obviously it's live action, it would look like something out of a comic book strip, which is just like the
kind of the thing they're going for,
exactly,
isn't it, really?
and it looks immense. It just looks fucking beautiful.
Immense.
I was
Do you mean
gonna say-
immense?
I was meant to say immense, but I just said immense.
Now we want bolognese. Fuck you.
But yeah, it was a pretty crazy trailer. Like everything about it, like finally seeing the Riddler in more than just taping up.
He looks
Everything
even more
about
like
it.
me.
What, the Riddler or Bruce Wayne? Oh.
No, well, Bruce Wayne because I can't sleep. The Riddler because of the mask.
Because I had insomnia. Bruce Wayne visually
Because
the
he's got the
Riddler.
fucking he's got the purple under his eyes. Yeah.
But every character in this just looks like they've had the effort put into them. They don't like every character's been
A little
so
bit.
well thought out.
In a way,
and
in ways, it does look a bit more visually pleasing than the Dark Light trilogy. No offense to Nolan.
100%. Because like as a fan of the Dark Knight, like the Dark Knight, the middle one,
And
it
that's
was,
not just because
like,
of time, but yeah, that's like
the Dark Knight being one of my favorite live action interpretations of Batman and Bruce Wayne and Gotham. Like this is my new favorite so far. Obviously, having only seen the trailers, the Dark Knight is on a different level. Not saying it's better or worse, but like I currently think this is better. The Dark Knight doesn't have the same visual sort of language and look to it. It's meant to be that's what like Christopher Nolan and like cinematographer were going for. It's meant to be. It's like the first ever film I think that was shot on IMAX, so it's meant to be like sort of larger than life, this big screen thing. Whereas this is meant to be more like bringing the comic book Batman, like something we haven't seen before, to life, which is what the Dark Knight did. But I think this has done it better. I don't know what you think, but
Well, I don't think it does. I don't think it matters about the technology or the effects or anything like that. Like, you know, the
that's just
people that
like,
were
yeah,
working in, like
that's just
the
a
people that
different
were
visual
working in,
style.
like,
Yeah,
it's just like who's directing this?
this is Matt Reeves. Yeah,
Yeah, so if he was directing the Dark Knight trilogy, it would look the exact same. Only
potentially.
the visual effects in terms of like, you know, CGI and stuff would be not as good as it is now. So like that's the only thing, like giving it extensive merit.
Hmm.
But like
This, because they are very different films visually. The Dark Knight is almost meant to be, you know, it's almost like a. Well, the only reason I think of it like this is purely because the like IMAX cameras went from being used on like Blue Planet documentaries to suddenly they're being used by Christopher Nolan in the Dark Knight trilogy. So this has taken the opposite like route in its visual language, and it's tried to completely sort of take the comic book visual style and bring it to life so well. I've already said. That's why it does stand alone, stands by itself, which is what the film's meant to be doing. And it's like then it's just a new version of Bruce Wayne, and this much darker form. I saw these memes online already that were like,
it doesn't feel like an origin story. It feels like the sort of, I know this is not, it's not meant to be a good comparison story. It's meant to be just more of a comparison in terms of the area in terms of which the superhero is at. It's like Spider-Man Homecoming. Like Peter Parker's already become Spider-Man. We're already like a part way through his journey. It's just continuing. Like in this case, it's Batman year 1, isn't it, or year 2?
Well, this,
to be fair,
like Joker, they're origin stories, but they're meant to be a version of. It's not meant to necessarily be like a young Bruce.
The origin.
Yeah, it's not. This is the origin story. This is a young Bruce Wayne. Remember him from The Dark Knight. This is.
Well, I suppose it kind of is, because it's like everyone's learned. Like, there's been rumors about in the timeline of the story. It's like no one knows who Batman is. There's just been rumors about him, isn't there? Because he's there, and like this is where he finally comes out of the shadows, and everyone gives him his name, and he makes a big appearance and presence.
But from the way that I mean, Robert Pattinson's already portraying him in this, he's much more of a and you're gonna like me for saying this, he's much more of a vigilante in this than the Dark Knight's interpretation, and basically any other interpretation of the Batman, of like Batman being this, you know.
You do realize he is a vigilante, right?
Well, yes, I know that, but he's coming across as more of one in this. Like, it's this one obviously because it's sort of trying to show his originality and sort of the birth of Batman, and more so like a younger Batman before he was like he was in the Dark Knight. This one shows more of like, it looks more like a vigilante, how I at least like me and you talk about like the whole vigilante side, like type of stories, because the Dark Knight, yes, he is being a vigilante, but this one looks more like the sort of on the street version, and not basically not fully established. I think that's the word I'm trying to get out. Like, he isn't established yet. He's not like, he isn't the Bruce Wayne that we met in The Dark Knight. He is Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne. That is this like we saw in the opening, like the official teaser. He didn't even have like the full. He wasn't Batman yet. He is just this dark, literally vigilante that no one really knows yet. And
who's playing Commissioner Gordon as well? Because I know in the trailer it looked like Gary Oldman, and I was like,
no, Jeffrey Wright. Yeah, the Watcher. Yeah.
Again?
Again? What do you mean again?
Well, he was in Your What If. He was in Bond.
Yeah,
What else has he been in?
Westworld.
It's variants of the Watcher just appearing in all these shows.
He is really good.
Jeffrey Wright.
He looks
He is
so good
great.
in this.
He's got such an iconic voice, though. That's the thing. You have to use him.
But yeah, every element of this film so far, the trailer just, oh my god. Visually, I was in awe. And if for some reason, if you're a Batman fan, you haven't watched it yet, link below. There's 2 trailers. There's actually, I'm gonna link 2. There's the 4K one, and there's the regular like Warner Bros. Link below, because this is an insane trailer. It's one of my favorite trailers ever. It's currently definitely my favorite Batman.
Hey? Bond man.
Bond man.
James Wayne.
I've been expecting you, Mr. Wayne.
Bruce Bond.
But
BB.
It's just nuts. It looks so good. I hope for every DC and especially Batman fan, this has exceeded your expectations.
Instead of the gunshot, it's like the Batman.
Miss Money Woman. Did you get that? Miss Money Woman. But
instead of
just Bond references now. Oh, Bond.
Instead of Alfred.
Just A.
Oh. Instead of instead of Q, P. For pen.
Hello,
J
Alfred, I've
for
missed you.
Joker. Now we know what J stands for.
Fucking Spectre reference. But yeah, to get back on point.
Oh my god.
I hope for every Batman fan it has exceeded your expectations, or at least met them. If you maybe didn't like the look of the teaser, but now you like this, I hope it's exceeded it. It's like it's blown my socks off. And yeah, literally. I'm barefoot in my own home. I didn't want
ever show that on camera.
I was going to, and I'm like, nah. Just
no,
nah.
don't.
But yeah.
Pat, this is why we need to work on your social skills.
This is why.
Yeah. This is why we need to work on your social skills.
And on that note,
I mean, yeah. My opinion, I'd say
oh, God.
Well, like I said before, very visually pleasing compared to the Nolan trilogy, as much as I love that. I do like Robert Pattinson in the role, especially if they're trying to go for a younger kind of outlook for the character in his early prime days of being Batman in this said like timeline. The actors for Penguin and Riddler, I think, are probably beyond perfect.
Yeah. The casting,
like
in
casting
this film,
choice wise,
everything, because I'm not trying to literally make the film sound insane because it already is, but like the casting, costume design, the production design, the art direction, the cinematography, hopefully the directing of this, it doesn't look like there's been an element of this film that's been left out at all.
It's Colin Firth who's playing Penguin, isn't it? Or have I got that wrong?
Farrell, yeah.
Farrell, sorry, yeah. What did I say Firth for? Fucking hell. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Colin Farrell.
Probably thinking Kingsman.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I know.
That's insane.
Not sure how
it?
I like. I know. I'm not sure how I like his voice playing the Penguin character yet, especially in that end shot in the trailer when he's getting like, you know, Fast and Furious 6 wise chase, like through the Firefly. People are going to hate you for comparison, but like I don't care. Like I don't know if I like his voice in all of his scenes, but I think the visual look is amazing.
It matches what the Penguin kind of is meant to be, like bare bones Penguin. No, this sort of almost like mafia guy. It's like, what? Why are you pissing yourself? Here we go. He's now just. I don't get. He's now just fallen down the frame, just pissing himself. What?
Right. So I saw a report yesterday, and you just reminded me of it now because the way you said it sounded. Benedict Cumberbatch cannot say the word penguin.
Penguin.
Penguin. That's how you
Look at
said
all
it.
these penguins.
Penguins.
But I think that it works.
It's like he's got a phobia of the gwing. It's just penguin. Jesus Christ, I love a chair. That's why I don't sit sideways on chairs, ladies and gentlemen. Right.
Well, I think
What
the
else might I have a
accent
note?
is kind of yeah. You're on about his accent, but
yeah, I'm not sure. I'll warm up to it. I think, but it's just because he's he's a crime lord, isn't he? So I feel like he's meant to be a bit outstanding compared to the average people with that kind of accent. So I get that he's probably, I suppose, in a way, because it's Batman's early days, it's like most of his enemies' early days as well, in a way, kind of, because the whole point is it's like Spider-Man, he has the origin, as do the villains, as he goes, kind of thing. So it's like that kind of thing, isn't it? So I guess he's, I don't know, it's hard to describe. I feel like he'd have a bit of a different, not accent, but he'd be a bit deeper in voice, and he'd be a bit more. He wouldn't sound like your common thug, but the way Colin Farrell's made it sound in that one specific scene is that he sounds like a bit of a common kind of thug, because he's a bit too light in his voice. But I don't know, maybe that's just the way they did it for the trailer. I don't know. Yeah, I might warm up to it.
Yeah,
I can't describe it very well. If you know what I mean by that kind of justification, then let us know in the comments. But I feel like usually for your prime villain, especially of that kind of status, you need a bit of a deep voice. But I know Penguin in the Arkham games.
I feel like if you go for stupidly deep, it gets a bit too cliche, and we don't fully believe him anymore. Whereas if the Penguin's meant to be a joke anyway. He isn't the Joker, obviously, but he's meant to be almost piss take, but still being typical Penguin. So I think it works. Obviously.
Sorry, that music's just stuck in my head now.
What the fuck you were doing?
The trailer music is some of the best trailer music I've ever heard. What's my other note?
See what going on?
I like. It's kind of a cliche, as well, but this trailer does not take any it kind of does a little bit, but it doesn't do it negatively. It likes to take for granted the aspects of obviously it'll be in the film as well, very metaphorical phrasing when they're describing things. And I know a lot of trailers do it because they do it for dramatic effect and to set the scene of the own world that the own world that the character is the characters are in. But it's who knows that I can't remember the line specifically, but it was something between defining the line between black and blue and comparing to black and blue and something else. And Batman is just punching some villain on the floor. The beat works really well. I love the cliche of the beats with the gunshots and each gunshot pellet, and then you've just got you can hear the music in the background. I love that. That never fails. That always works.
What you're referring to is the Riddler's is the one of the Riddler's riddles. So
it's just a lot of the metaphorical phrasing. It's just that's a bit of a cliche, and some of it felt a little bit not forced, but it just felt they're just putting it in there for because it's just you just want to bring people in.
Are you on about all the quotes in it? But
it had a lot. I felt like it had a lot of them, and it didn't need them all because audiences were already thrilled to the bone anyway. You could have maybe one or two in there, and then just set the scene by just.
Well, I can only think of two kind of big quotes. There was obviously the Riddler's one at the end, which he is literally doing a riddle, and then you had the Batman. You had Bruce Wayne's one, which is on about.
He's talking about the light in the sky. Rather as in the bat symbol against the moon. He's talking about the light in the sky sort of thing. There's it works, but it doesn't work that well because there's not much threat to it, because obviously Batman doesn't kill, so he's just doing his duty at night as a vigilante going after criminals, and he's new to the game anyway, and that definitely at this stage he's not going to kill. So what's he gonna do that's going to cause much of an impact straight away, other than obviously hopefully defeating Penguin at the end of the story and Riddler. Like, they're not going to die. Well, very unlikely, because he won't kill them. So unless they decide to make this version of Batman the killing Batman, but it's very unlikely he'll do that.
I think that is, though, in my opinion, that's why his line there when the bat signal goes up is like, why we're using that instead of showing it, obviously, at this point. And it just gives you, well, we already know why he does it and what the purpose is.
Plus, in this iteration, they must get a friendship going between him and Commissioner Gordon almost straight away then, because it takes literally usually over a whole story for Commissioner Gordon, in terms of those two characters meeting before Commissioner Gordon actually finally trusts Batman enough to actually implement the bat signal.
I don't know the relationships between this, and you can obviously tell straight away that Commissioner they're gonna
brilliant. They're gonna like reset the timeline a little bit to make it so
it's its own
they establish that relationship in the first story very quickly, unless that's like a one of the final shots in the film after he's already gained his trust, perhaps.
I don't know the relationship at all between, like, I almost think we might.
The way they describe it in the trailer makes it sound like it's. I think they must do. They always do.
I mean, I feel like what might happen is it's going to be like two separate people at the moment, and then they are crossing paths because of the events of the Riddler, and like I feel like the intertwining paths of Batman trying to be the vigilante that he is. Commissioner Gordon sort of trying to just solve crime, and then you've got Penguin intervening in what Batman's doing, and I feel like that's how they cross paths because of the Riddler, and how well they like Gordon and Batman sort of their relationships join in this. I don't know how often they will like actually try and work with each other, if at all.
Well, the way he describes it in the trailer makes it sound like they have some sort of established conversion.
They have some.
Why do I just say conversation? They have some sort of establishing like relationship.
Yeah.
Quite quickly in the story, because the way that it comes across in the trailer, and that's obviously misleading. Batman describes it like as in the present days of the story, he's doing the bat signal and like he's coming in and sorting stuff out. Hence, probably what leads into that scene in the detective's room where he like punches the window.
Yeah.
And he screams like, because and then obviously the scene of him being like with the police officers and he's handcuffed.
Well, I definitely don't think that they they're going to be two separate people, never trying to work with each other.
Well, they have to.
That's not what Gordon and Batman are. They will have.
That's like saying Aunt May is Spider-Man. Like, it just didn't happen, did it? So yeah.
But
yeah.
There we go.
Like
there's a lot of characters. It's just so good.
I hope that there would be a sequel, but at the same time, I wouldn't say no to it being good enough to work on its own. Maybe
work on its own for sure. I know how much you want a sequel, but
there won't be the Batman 2, or probably the Batman and Robin or something, whatever they call it.
Who knows?
It's not canon to Ben Affleck's thing, is it at all? It's a completely new take. Yeah. Which I like.
Which we will find out for your sake in like a year or two, whether or not.
For Bruce Wayne returns.
But there we go. It's another like special one, given that fandom was yesterday. So watch the Batman trailer.
And also, if you haven't seen any of the fandom information yet, we've got trailers for Peacemaker starring John Cena, which is the new series that spins off canonizing the James Gunn Suicide Squad movie that came out earlier this year. We've got a trailer for Shazam 2, but I think that's more of like a bloopers gag reel kind of trailer, like behind the scenes
ones. Which,
there's a Flash movie trailer starring Ezra Miller,
Black Adam as well, and
Black Adam stuff. Well, I think that was kind of one of the biggest things, but I always forget about it. Starring Dwayne Johnson. That's somehow connected to Shazam 2 as well, Fury of the Gods. And what's the other thing that we got? Oh yeah, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League video game that's coming out as well. If you're interested in video games, if you want us to talk about video games as well, then let us know in the comments. I've got quite a lot of things to say about PS4 and 5 and the Marvel games and Star Wars games. And
Well, I heard
Grand
this is
Theft Auto.
apparently, and
Weasel News.
this wasn't an April Fool. This was because of an April Fool's. I might be a retard in saying this, but
I'm gonna keep that in.
it's gonna be brilliant.
Send me that clip.
I will.
I'm gonna put that in the trailer.
The Xbox, Microsoft,
retard.
and the Xbox Series X, they made an April Fool's this year about making the Xbox Series X mini fridge, and now they're actually doing it, as far as I'm aware, because of how big of a...
wrong. I really hope you're wrong.
I'm wrong.
If you're
But
wrong.
as far as I know, apparently, in fact, I want to look it up right now. But as I look it up, say yes, this is our breakdown. Well, not really our breakdown.
God.
It's not a breakdown. It's just our thoughts and how fucking awesome we think the Batman trailer looks. We'll be talking about Peacemaker as well, and maybe a little bit about Black Adam, and I might talk about Shazam as well because I kind of like. I love the first Shazam.
Shazam, not Shitzam. You just
Shazam.
call it Shitzam.
I like Shitzam. But yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Shazam curry, Shih Tzu curry.
So have fun, and we'll see you for whenever we upload next. Yeah.
This video is sponsored by The Only Way is Essex, and last week's video is also sponsored by Will from The In-Betweeners. Get laid.
Get laid.
Get some. Get some. Get some. Get some. I mean, get some. Get laid.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
What was his girlfriend's name again? Or in the show? Was it? I don't know.
Don't believe me? You can pre-order Microsoft's official Xbox Series X mini fridge starting next week for $99.
Why is that such a when we were 7 sort of thing to do? You'd get a fridge for your bedroom so you didn't have to leave your room.
I still
You
want
just
one.
you just stock it with fucking
easier.
dairy milk chocolate bars.
Dairy Milks and Red Bull or Monsters. There we go. We'll see you.
And Iron Brew.
And Iron Brew, yeah. But,
And Iron Brew. Yeah.
So thanks for watching, and we'll see you when we next see you. Catch ya.
Doodles. Boom.
Boom.
You waiting for me to say something retarded?
Yeah, I'm keeping that in. Yeah.